this is Kelly from Smith Consulting, and today I'm going to demonstrate the new WYSIWYG functionality in our Registration Pro module. WYSIWYG is an acronym. It stands for What You See is What You Get, and it really helps make the perfect form builder because as you're creating your form, you see what your customers are going to see while they're filling out the form. Okay, so I have already downloaded and installed the Registration Pro module and added it to a page in my DNN portal. I have products configured and I have the basic settings, all of the required settings configured. Okay, so I'm going to just hover over Setup. And I'm going to click on Template Editor, and that's what's going to take you to the WYSIWYG Form Builder. So here we are. It's really awesome. This is a basic registration. This is the stacked layout mode. There is a 2-column layout and also a 3-column layout. For our purpose today, I'm just going to go ahead and stay in stacked. So label controls is the first grouping of things you can add to your form. So there's a heading, which I have demonstrated up here. I'll drag another one over just so you can see. It's going to ask you to put in a label, so I'm going to call it heading 2 and update. You can change the size of it or you can leave it how it is. Okay, I'm going to delete that one. I already have one added. Okay. Next is the required indicator. The required indicator is going to be used if you have a field that's not showing this red bar. You can add the required indicator to then make the field required. The red bar is going to be on all the fields that are already required. And then there's the tooltip text. The tooltip text is just this little guy right here, the little circle with the eye in it for information. And what that does is if your customers hover over it, it tells them what you're looking for them to type into the field. So those are the label controls. Next we have the text control. So we have a text box, a DateTime Picker, and then a text area. So a text box is going to be something that you add. You can add it wherever you want. You just click and drag, and then you give it the label. So I'm going to put in here, nickname. I'm going to take out the tooltip, and I'm going to, in the placeholder, I'm going to put nickname again. Okay, so now you see it added down here. So your users are going to see this. They're going to see nickname, and they're going to be able to fill this out. Next is the DateTime Picker. So the DateTime Picker is going to be used if you're doing bookings or schedulings with your registration form. Maybe they're registering for a conference or a meeting. You can toggle required on and off. You can select a date picker or just a time picker, and then it gives you a few different formats to choose from. So here we have a DateTime Picker that your users will see, and when they click on that, a calendar will then pop up. Next is a text area. A text area is like a text box. The difference is a text area is a little bit bigger. It gives more room and more lines. A text box is a single line. So once again, in my tooltip, I'll just type notes, and then in my placeholder note, I'm going to say, please enter notes here. We're going to update it. And now you see how the text area will display to your customers. So those were the text controls. Next is select controls. So these are going to be the controls that you use when you have your customers making selections. There's a few different options. So there's a single checkbox, and single checkbox most of the time is going to be used for terms and conditions or things like that. So you can just go ahead and check agreement if you're going to be using it for terms and conditions, and that's going to make it required. So I'm going to say the label text is going to be agree to terms. I'm going to have it default as checked. And then for the tooltip text, I'm going to say I agree to the terms and conditions. Oops. So it's just like that. Next is going to be the checkbox list. So what's different about the checkbox list is that there's many checkboxes, and it gives your customers the ability to select multiple options. So the tooltip is just going to be checkbox. Okay, the title, please select one or more option. Okay, so we have checkbox 1, checkbox 2, checkbox 3. Well, what if you only have 2 checkboxes? Okay, so then we can just delete one there. Now we have 2. What if you have more than 3? You can add checkboxes, and there's no limit. It's unlimited. I'm going to go ahead and update, and now your customers have these 7 options that I've added to select from. Once more, I'm just going to reiterate, checkboxes are the best select tool to use when your customers are going to be selecting one or more options. That brings us to our next select control. It's the radio buttons. Radio buttons are good selection tools, but only allow you to pick one option. So if your customers can pick one of however many options, radio button is going to be the one you want to use. So we have the same settings that we had with the checkboxes. You can add them or delete them. I'll add a couple more, and I'll change the tooltip here to say select one option. And then I'll update. And then you'll see down here the radio buttons exactly how your customers are going to see them. The next select control is the drop-down list. So the drop-down list allows you to put different values in. So our default value is going to be select. That way your customer knows that they are going to have to select one. It is required, and I have opted to have my default value. So my label text for right now is just going to be select, and then the tooltip text is going to be select one option from the drop down. You'll see here we have 3 options. We can add another one. When you enter onto a new line, that's going to be a new option in your drop down box. So I can do select option 4, 5, 6, and so on, or I can only have 2 options if that's what I want to offer to my customers. So I'm going to select update. You'll see it here, and your customers will then have the ability to select from a drop-down. So the other controls we have are the file upload, the reset button, and the ReCaptcha. File upload is a fun one. File upload is if you are asking your customers to upload any supporting documentation or what have you, pictures, etc., to their registration. You can make it required or not. You can have a thumbnail image preview or not. And you can comma separate the type of files that you are accepting, the maximum number of them, and then the max file size. So now you see this choose files button. That's what your customers are going to see when they update their registration. It can be required if you need it to be. It doesn't have to be. Next is the reset button. The reset button allows them to reset the form just to clear the form out. That's another option you could give. And then here we have the Google ReCaptcha. The Google ReCaptcha is a fun one because it allows your users to register on your site without having to type in, those crazy keys. Google ReCaptcha is nice because they really streamlined the process. So what you need for a Google ReCaptcha is you just need a site key, and you can obtain that for free from Google for your website, and then you need a secret key, which is for private registration. So I'm just going to click cancel. I don't have my site key handy. Next is the module controls. These are additional fields you can add. So up here we have, the basic first name, last name, email address fields, all the way down to address. So these are different fields or duplicate fields. You can add a username and a password if you want your users to create an account. If you only add password and don't add username, their email address from above will then be configured as the username. Once you go through all of these fields, you decide what you might want to add. All you have to do is go to the top and hit save. So this is how I'm going to leave my form configured. And now I'm going to go to the page that I have the module added to, and we'll see the form that we created. I'm logged in, so it's not asking me to create a user account. But if I were logged out, you would see those fields at the bottom. So everything is filled out. This is what we built, and it's what we see. And that's the whole point of the what you see is what you get form builder. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can reach us through the help desk at helpdesk.smith-consulting.com, or you could give us a call